I'm going to share with you one of the weirdest experiences as a performer that I've ever had. And I was planning on doing stand-up this night, but I ended up not doing stand-up. Instead, I ended up in a wrestling ring with a WWE Hall of Famer. One of the weirdest stories that has ever happened to me as a performer. So I got booked to do this very interesting kind of a festival that was happening. It's a one-day festival at the Double Door in Chicago, which is this legendary rock venue. Like the Rolling Stones have played there, the Smashing Pumpkins played there. Jamie Campbell has now played there. And
Yeah.
This was not a traditional show in terms of the type of content. The promoter was throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this event. So it was a show that had like 3 different rock bands throughout the night. There were burlesque performances. There were freak show acts. I remember this one guy, he lifted 100 pounds with his nipples. With the rings
one
in
of
his nipples.
those.
It was so
like
weird.
an old-time variety show. Like, hey, come see the nipple man.
Yeah, and I tell you, they did not look like nipples when he was done. They looked like Swedish fish.
The guy had full-on udders.
Right, exactly. And so there was those acts, stand-up comedy. There were 3 comics on the bill. I was one of 3. And then they had some professional wrestling matches. And this whole thing was headlined by a wrestler named Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Beefcake. Yes.
Yeah. He was, anybody that watched wrestling in the mid to late 80s probably knows him as Hulk Hogan's tag team partner. And he was in the very first WrestleMania. This guy was basically Hulk Hogan's best friend for a long time. They kind of came up in the wrestling industry together. And so when I was a little kid, I was a huge Hulkamaniac. This is before we knew anything about all the racist allegations and things like that. I mean, this guy was friends with Mr. T. Who knew? But Brutus Beefcake, I watched him all the time as a kid. So I'm doing this show, and I'm psyched because I'm going to get to be a fly on the wall backstage while they plan how the professional wrestling match is going to go. And I overhear them. They're talking about, how it's going to go. They wanted the local wrestler that was wrestling Brutus to beat him to kind of, I guess, set him up to look like a tougher guy. And Brutus was not about it. He got really upset. He goes, that's not going to work for me, brother. And I was like, wow, he says brother in real life. This is amazing. And so the other guy was like, okay, it's fine. I'll lose. It's no big deal. And I noticed that he's already got a beer in his hand. This is like 5 p.m. And he's not going on till like 11 p.m. And he's got a fresh beer, and he keeps taking a handful of something. I'm assuming it might be pain pills, but I don't know for sure. Legally speaking, it could be jelly beans. But I'll tell you what, if it was jelly beans, he loved them because he was taking handfuls of them all night. And, so he starts to get more and more inebriated. Now, if you know Brutus Beefcake's gimmick is he's called the Barber because he beats you by putting you in a sleeper hold, and then when you're unconscious, he takes out some shears and gives you the worst haircut of your life.
I always thought that was the funniest name and gimmick in wrestling was Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Like, I'm going to put you to sleep, and then we're going to shave your head.
That's right. First, I'm going to kick your ass. Then I'm going to give you a whole new look.
Yeah, exactly.
So Brutus starts getting faded back there. Like, you can tell that, like, he's kind of slurring. He's kind of walking around muttering to himself. And as the night goes on, he seems to be getting more and more loaded. And at some point, I find out that the local wrestler is no longer comfortable getting in the ring with him. And so the promoter comes up to me. He sits down next to me and goes, hey, Jamie, I know you were planning on doing comedy tonight. Now, here's the thing. Brutus Beefcake, we paid him a lot of money to come in and headline this event. And if he doesn't perform, we got to give everybody their money back. So how about instead of doing stand-up comedy, would you be willing to just get on the mic, you talk a little trash to him, and then he waves you over to the ring, puts you in a sleeper hole, gives you a haircut? Now, the smart person in my mind says, this guy's over here just 3 sheets to the wind, and I'm being asked to let him take a sharp object to my head. That sounds like a bad idea. That's like letting Billy Joel be your Uber driver. But the child in me that watched this guy tag team with Hulk Hogan will not let me miss the opportunity. So, of course, I was in. Now, Brutus and I sort of went over what was going to happen. He's just like, All right, yeah, I'll wave you over to the ring. I'll put you in a sleeper hold and cut your hair. Easy peasy. He does not mention that he's going to throw punches. So the time comes, I get on the mic, I interrupt him in the ring, I talk a little trash, and he waves me over. And if I had known this guy was going to throw a punch at my head, I would have made it look terrible. I'm not a trained pro wrestler. I don't know how to fake taking a punch. But I tell you what, if you don't know a punch is coming, and a fist the size of a football comes at your face, you naturally react. And so he throws 3 punches, and I've seen the video footage. I nailed it. I look great going back like this every time. And as drunk as Brutus was, never came close to hitting me. Every single time that fist had like just that much of a gap. I could feel the wind of it, but he never touched me. And then he puts me in the sleeper hold. And I know I've got to sell it, like I'm flailing around trying to fight it off, but I forgot that I'm supposed to be slowly falling asleep. So I'm just flailing around like crazy. And then Brutus whispers in my ear, he goes, "You got to fall asleep sometime, brother." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And so I slowly move my hands, and then he gently places me on the mat. And you know what? Gives me a very nice little haircut. I didn't even have to go to the barber to get it fixed. So...
Oh, man, what a gentleman.
He was actually a total pro, inebriated or not.
That is, man, I'm glad I asked you that question. That is an insane story of like, you thought you showed up to do comedy. It turns out you're just getting a nice little do from a drunken superstar wrestler.
That's right. It was the next year that he got into the WWE Hall of Fame, so pretty wild. I think I'm what put him over the edge.
But you know what? That's also a good example of just saying yes to life. Like, you know what I mean? Like the cautionary part of you is like, I don't know, I better not. You know, he's had some drinks or whatever. But it's like, yes, of course I'm gonna let Brutus the Barber Beefcake kick my ass. Like this is, and that you've probably gotten so much mileage out of that story throughout the course of your life.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm planning on it being part of my next special, so I'm excited about that.
Catch the full story on the Laugh or Death podcast, available now.